It's the end of 2023, and World War Z just dropped an update called The Valley of the Zeke. Keep in mind that this update is partially considered premium and comes with a price tag of $9.99 US. However, there are parts of this update that were free for everyone. For example, a new secondary weapon was added, which was the Desert Eagle, or basically it had to have a different name, of course, which has really good damage, actually pretty high damage, but its sound effects were a little lackluster. It's missing that oomph. They also added a new special zombie called the Juggernaut, which looked really cool in the trailers until we finally got to see it. And it's just basically a reskin bull with extra armor. So basically an already special zombie. But that's okay, it's free. And I feel like, though, they're just easier to deal with than the bull most of the time. So those are really just an extra special zombie, which isn't a good or bad thing, more of just a neutral thing. They also added the new basic zombies that were once in the military. However, it seems that they only spawn in certain missions, and to be fair, these zombies kind of already existed. For example, in some missions where you had to fight alongside allied military men, if those guys were to die and get infected by the zombies, they would turn into military zombies. Well, those zombies are now in the game officially as a set of basic zombies, and like I said before, they just don't seem to spawn in every single mission, which is fine. But just another reskin asset with just a little bit more armor. You see where I'm getting at with this update? Anyways, we did get 7 new challenge horde mode mutators and some bug fixes and optimization across all platforms, which is fantastic and something everybody was glad to see. Well, at first the update sounded amazing. On paper, they only did good things. And if it wasn't for the new missions, this update would be very, very lackluster. But I, for one, had no problem buying the DLC right away and paying for them since I am an avid fan. I'd argue anyone who still plays World War Z to this day probably all bought the DLC the second it came out as well. The new missions are totally worth it and are filled to the brim with zombies. I mean, we're practically playing mini horde modes in each of these new missions. With the amount of defenses and hordes we fight against, these missions are freaking fantastic. If you didn't know, the new missions are located in Arizona, a location in the United States, and have 4 new playable characters. On top of this update, there were a paid character skin pack and a new paid weapon skin pack. Of course, this is all cosmetic and doesn't change the way the game is played, and I personally think the packs are fairly priced at $4.99 US each. Unfortunately, no matter how good of a picture you paint, this update came with some game-breaking bugs. Servers were down, matchmaking wasn't working, the Juggernaut was clipping characters through the walls, the Vanguard class shield stopped blocking a bull charge, and the list surprisingly keeps going on and on. But luckily for us, Reddit has shown these bugs firsthand so that I can show you guys what I'm talking about. First up, we can see here, so you can block Juggernauts with Vanguard but not Bulls anymore. All other specials block seem fine. Let's take a look at this. Here we have a Juggernaut charging with the Vanguard class. Boom. We're able to stop the Juggernaut with the Vanguard class. Okay, here we go with the normal Bull. Oh. And just like that, the Vanguard is no longer working with Bulls. Still works with Infected, as we can see right here. And what's this? The Bomber, no damage. Here we have the Lurker. Boom, blocks the Lurker. And now we have the Golden Bull, which is technically a little bit more special than the normal Bull. However, in theory, it should still block it. And as we can see here, it did not block it. So clearly, at this moment of time, the Vanguard class is currently bugged when it comes to Bulls, which is a bug that Saberactive actually is aware of. As you can see right here, hello, we are aware of this problem and are currently working on a fix. Thank you for your report. So already we can see the developers are working, they're active, and we'll talk about more of that later. Let's take a look at this next one here. Juggernaut is very buggy. Take a look at this. So this is one of the maps here. There's an entrance over here. This door's right here, and then there's an entrance to the right, and there's going to be a Juggernaut just comes flying in. Of course, we don't quite see it until it's too late. You'll see right here. Here's the Juggernaut charging in, hits the player and the bots, and the player just goes flying into the ceiling, onto the roof, basically. And it seems like the character may never get back up, and it's completely glitched. And then we also have a Lurker who tries to jump him on top of the ceiling. And this is the common thing that I was talking about with the Juggernaut clipping characters, players into walls, ceilings, etc. Don't worry, there's more of this. Check a look at this. Don't let the Juggernaut push you back. He's serious. Take a look at this one. Here we are in Moscow, and boom, this guy is stuck in the ceiling. At least for him, he can actually move around. However, there's no way he'll be able to finish the game. He's going to have to commit suicide if he's even allowed to or able to. But we also see here that this person is also getting pushed into a pillar and into the side of this wall here, this little like railing before you fall down. And yeah, The Juggernaut is just absolutely broken. We also got this one right here. The lingering AoE attacks have me rolling much like this. So we can see Juggernaut coming up here, and we got the brand new Desert Eagle if you haven't seen it already. Pretty nice. But here comes the Juggernaut charge. So we dodged the Juggernaut charge, no big deal, right? So everything should be fine. But then all of a sudden you can see the AI characters obviously got hit and they're on the ground. They're kind of like flying because the Juggernaut fell off the map. Or maybe not the map, but off the edge. And now all of a sudden the player is knocked down? Like, what the heck happened? Well, I'll tell you right now, it wasn't because of phantom zombies. It was because this Juggernaut leaves behind like an AoE knockdown, and it's just absolutely completely bugged. And I think you guys get the drift that the Juggernaut is completely broken. But get a load of this. Outside of the Juggernaut, a completely brand new bug. You can now tag the inside of breachable containers. Take a look at this. You can just walk up and just blindly tag what's inside these containers when you're not supposed to know what's in there. It's still supposed to be purely RNG loot behind there that use an explosive. And now all of a sudden you can just tag and sign this. And I've actually seen this firsthand myself because when I saw the video, I tried it, and sure enough, the bug does exist. Now, the nice thing about World War Z, however, despite the constant minor bugs, new or old, Saban Interactive, the developers of the game, are very open and quick with their communication. They already created and shared a list of all the known issues with the current status. They've proved and still prove that they care and are acting quickly. They've tweeted about it, and they're keeping us informed on Reddit as well. Just this morning, they brought down the servers to fix parts of the game. This is all within the first 24 hours of the update being out and them finding out about these bugs. Now, of course, it makes you wonder how something like this gets past QA, but it's got to be an issue between the live and the dev build or something. I don't know. But anyways, I argue that this is impressive by the development team, but of course it could have been even more impressive had there been no bugs in the first place. So let's talk about my overall recent impressions on the update, as well as the overall state of World War Z. This is a review for both the update that just came out, as well as the game as a whole. Personally, I really like the new paid portion, including the new episode in Arizona with 3 new missions. I think $9.99 isn't overpriced and it's well worth your money. On average, each mission was 30 to 40 minutes long, and you're definitely going to play each mission at least twice. So you're looking at 3+ hours of entertainment for $10, which is cheaper than going to the movies or basically anything nowadays. Freaking inflation is just screwing us over, but that's not important here. Anyways, I really like that the new weapon and the character skins are in there and that they're free. So even if you didn't want to get the new maps, you can still get some of the new updates to make the game feel more fresh. But I also think that those packs are, again, fairly priced and look overall cool. I mean, for $4.99, that's not bad. Most companies like Fortnite and crap like that is like $15, $10, $20. Even Halo, for example, to pay for a splash of color is ridiculous. But if I was to ignore that kind of stuff, if I was to ignore the bugs that came out with this update and the bugs that just come over time, I'd give this update a solid 8 out of 10, maybe even a 9 out of 10. But with the bugs currently there, which I understand will eventually get resolved, I'd arguably give this update a 7 out of 10. The new special and common zombies are nice, but they're not anything really new, just reskins. I like that there was a new weapon added, but not a single class can start with it, making it hard for anyone or anything to get their hands on it right away. It took me about 6 hours of playing to finally get to see the Desert Eagle in action in my own personal game. I mean, that kind of sucks, but it is what it is. So what am I trying to say here? If there were no bugs, this is an easy 8 out of 10, but with the bugs, I give it a solid 7 for now. So what do you guys think? Are you enjoying the update? Would you rate it higher, lower, or the same? Or are you still waiting to buy it? Besides the update, let's talk about World War Z as a state. In general, it has been an amazing co-op shooter. It came out back in 2019, I can't believe that, 4 years ago, about to be 5, and it was the very first game I ever created content for on my YouTube channel. World War Z holds a very special place in my heart. It has come a long way, and I'd argue that it is amongst the top 10 zombie games since then. And the fact that the game is still getting updates, like actual good updates 4 years later, just puts other games to shame. I'm looking at you, Back for Blood. If someone was to ask me if they should buy World War Z, I wouldn't hesitate, and I'd tell them right then and there that they should. All in all, World War Z is an excellent game, and I'm glad that I've been here from the start. And this was my 2023 World War Z. What did I just say? What? Well, folks, that was my 2023 World War Z review. and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.